You wrote another an article that was interesting. 4 takeaways from another disheartening defeat. Shredded and beat defensive struggles. So take us through that.
Yeah, to me, the defense has been, and I wrote that it changes every week, but you could argue the defense has been the most disappointing this season. And yesterday was probably its worst performance. And there's been glimpses here and there where it's played pretty well and, played great for a half. They're really good on third down, or they have been really good on third down. But, too many breakdowns, too many big plays, and all that came about again yesterday. And it was, the long touchdown to, MVS that they're in the wrong, half the team's in the wrong coverage, and the guy escapes. It's the three touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Um, it's all of it from a unit that was just supposed to be better. It was number one in a bunch of categories last year. I did not think that was a fluke. I still don't think it was a fluke, but they haven't been able to match that. And it's got to be confounding for Jim Schwartz and Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Bayer, everybody. But then when you have an outing like they did yesterday, it makes it so much worse. And that's how you lose, right? The offense starts to play a little bit better, even though it only scored 14 points, but the defense doesn't give them a chance late because they don't get a stop in the fourth quarter.
All right, so 2 and 3 we'll kind of put together in this 4 takeaways, making the case for Winston, and you touched on it. You know that the offense, there was a little bit of excitement. He threw for 395 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over, and then this one terrible break. DeJuan
Yeah.
Jones sustains a fractured ankle, and we'll talk about that a little bit here in a little bit in a minute, but. Winston and the offense takes care of the ball, and it's still not enough.
Right. Now, I think there's two aspects with Winston. Number one is you can just see how different the offense looks with him versus Deshaun Watson. And I don't know if we talked about it after that Ravens game or not, Dave, but it's night and day. And then, he throws the 3 picks against the Chargers. They had a good scheme. It didn't look the same. But this just reaffirmed to me what we saw against Baltimore, and I think it's legitimate. Like I think it's proven to me now that the offense can move with Jameis Winston. Yes, there could be hiccups. Yes, he could throw interceptions. You never know when those are coming. But he's gonna give his receivers a chance. We saw that time and again. He's gonna make throws down the field to stretch the defense. They're gonna move the ball, and whether they get in the end zone, who knows? But they're gonna have a chance offensively, and I just didn't think they did with Deshaun Watson. I think it's night and day just the change at quarterback because nothing else around has changed. It's still Tillman and Moore and Judy. So that's been the biggest change. And then how about going forward? Like the Browns, we don't know what the Browns are going to have at quarterback beyond 2024. And if Jameis Winston gets a chance to start the rest of these games and stays healthy, he's going to make a case to either to come back here as some kind of a starter or go somewhere else as maybe a bridge guy or whatever. Like this is an important thing for him in his career because it's been a long time since he had the opportunity to start a string of games, and we'll see what he does with that opportunity.
Yeah, so we'll come to DeJuan Jones breaking his ankle in a minute. The other one, ugly misses, and it's Dustin Hopkins. Man, as good as he was last year, it's like heck, he got a do-over and missed it on one of them after a penalty.
I know it looked like a golf swing to me. Like he hit the same shot 3 times in a row and couldn't make the correction. The 51 yarder he pulled, but you got 51 yards, and then he does it from 32. Then he made the same kick from 27. Um, and it's not isolated. He's 14 for 20 on field goals this year after being, I think he was 33 for 36 a year ago. So you talk about bad football, and this is a prime example of what changed from last year to this year. Well, your kicker quit making kicks, and that affects things, right? The Browns should have, instead of 14-14, it probably should have been 21-14 if your kicker makes kicks. And obviously it wasn't. And that matters. Like those things matter when you're in a tight ball game like it was. And then the other part is and who knows, kickers are fickle and he could be great the rest of the year. Maybe he figures it out next year. But knowing that unless you're a great kicker, and even we're seeing Justin Tucker now struggle this year, but unless you're an all-time great, there's going to be huge variances And the Browns went and gave him a 3-year extension in July when he was already signed through 2024. And, we talk about Andrew Berry's moves. Like right now, that looks like an unnecessary mistake that he made.